Hey, folks, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific. I'm Chris of the Northwest, and we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're dancing like nobody's watching, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
That's a good thing to do. Tonight, we're going to talk about leaving no trace while you're geocaching. Nobody likes people making a mess. As always, live audience, we want to hear from you. Land Monkey's already getting started on leaving a trace, and I haven't even introduced him yet. So, oh, there he is. There is a trace. Uno, dos, cuatro. We no speak a trace. It is Thursday night. I'm Wits End. It's time to bring in our trash panda. Some say he floats on the water in the same way that a brick doesn't. Others say he did the electric slide at a wedding. There were no survivors. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
I guess it all depends on the amperage you use for your electric slide.
That's right.
It's always about the amperage. All right. And that'll just start off all the electricity puns. So we'll just let those go.
Shocking, I know.
I will have no resistance to them tonight. All right. It is good to be back here, my friends. Hope everybody's doing well. I see lots of activity in the chat. Oh my gosh.
I know.
I've already got like
amazing.
multiple scrolling pages of chat. That's awesome. I love it. You guys are fantastic. Good to see you all. There we go. Yes. Here
come the puns.
Here come the puns. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, folks, while the puns roll out, I will take a moment to remind all that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. And also a thanks to Land Sharks, one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. Head on over to landsharkz.ca to find out more about their services and products that you may enjoy at landsharks.ca. And our other corporate Denali level sponsor, well, that would be Gold Country Geotourism. Visit exploregoldcountry.com to learn more about the geotours and the region. Plenty of communities to explore any time of the year. Make sure you download the app, check them out on Facebook, or visit exploregoldcountry.com. And folks, if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, well, we would encourage you to head on over to the website, go looking for that Patreon link, and give it a little clicky on the cachingnw.com, a website.
Yes. Go searching for it. Maybe I'll hide it just to see if anybody finds it.
What a great idea. You must work in marketing.
Yeah. Let's make it as difficult as possible to find. Hey, you know what's sometimes difficult to find? Glows. Yes, we need more, folks. Thank you for sending some in, but we need your glows. And, you know, while you're thinking, I should send in a glow, but maybe I don't know what a glow is.
What is a glow? In stereo, we're available.
Wow, this is fantastic. Well, a glow is a geocaching log of the week. You see, there we get the GLOW. And thanks to Dora Moore for doing that. I don't know how long ago. So whether you, many moons, and whether you wrote it or whether you read it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. Send an email or a recording to feedback@cachingnw.com. You can call into 253-693-TFTC and show us just how you glow.
All right. And this glow came to us from 614 Buckeye. It's from a cache, let's see, GC7FWVH take supplies to the animal shelter. Okay, yeah. Interesting. And his log says, so we found the cache from 2 years ago. Let me explain.
There's no
Well,
time. Let me
yeah.
sum up.
No, yeah. While walking by on the trail, we saw something sticking out in the open that looked very much like a homemade camo painted cache container. I go to investigate. When I look inside, I find some usual cache swag, a bracelet, some I voted stickers, a travel bug. A cache it is. Sweet. Another quick find. Just need to cover this back up a little better when I put it back. Then I investigate more. On the back of the I voted stickers, someone had written a note dated 3 days ago saying that they had taken this with them and kept it in their garage and just now brought it back. I then plug in the travel bug's tracking number and see that it has been marked missing almost 2 years ago. So I went back to the previous logs on this cache, and what do you know? In the same time frame, this container had gone MIA and the cache owner had replaced it. I then also realized whoever returned this container put it back over 200 feet from the posted coordinates, although hidden in a manner as described by the hint. So I took the travel bug with me to move along. Here's hoping the owner responds soon. I'll bet they'll be excited. As for the cache, luckily I know the cache owner, so I let him know this container was being held hostage all this time so he can go investigate. Thanks. And 614 Buckeye adds, thanks for all the work you guys put in the show. I look forward to the new episodes. We look forward to the new episodes as well.
Yes. Sometimes we don't know what they are until we log in and look and go, oh, hey, look at this.
Sometimes
By the way,
on Friday morning, I wonder what we talked about.
What did we talk about? You know, it's funny because I will see people on the weekend at an event and they go, oh, what'd you talk about on Thursday?
Stuff.
Well,
what did I have for breakfast this morning? I don't know.
yeah, exactly. Like I put work into it and then I'm done with it on Thursday and I forget and I start thinking about next week. So I can't tell you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's often like, okay, that's done. Next project.
Yes, exactly. GSM times 2 said exactly what I was going to say. The 614 is the area code for Columbus, or at least central Ohio. Go Buckeyes.
Go Buckeyes.
Interesting. 604 is one of the area codes for British Columbia.
Why, it's almost the same.
It's almost the same.
Geographically as well, right? Because it's completely flat.
No.
Just no.
No. Folks, if you want to contribute to tonight's show, I know it's here somewhere. Here it is. Use the hashtag Lint. LNT.
or LINT.
LINT.
Lent. Yes. Give up a comment for Lent.
Oh, LNT is in leave no trace. Toss that in there. We'll probably mention your comment in the show. Of course, we always want you to bring up something for the FTAS or for the after show, as we like to say. Toss that in the chat, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Perhaps it's something that you're doing this weekend, something that you discovered personally. Who knows? Maybe it's that new diet you've started, and we all want to hear about it. Trust me. I think we do. And, of course, use the hashtag podcast baking to tell us what you've got cooking during the show this evening.
That's right. And you know how to tell if somebody's on a new diet, don't you? Don't worry, they'll tell you.
Okay.
Say, and then the other hashtag that comes up every once in a while, hashtag podcast drinking. So
podcast drinking. Tell us what you're sipping. Yep.
Tell us what you're sipping tonight.
All right. Well, we've got a little bit of news here tonight, so we'll let's talk through that before we get into tonight's topic. The first story comes to us from shepnews.com.au. So that would be in Australia. And Shep News, that sounds like news for shepherds. So
I would think so. Yeah. Australian shepherds.
Shepherd book?
Yeah. I have one.
All right.
Okay.
Well, this fresh off the Barbie along with the shrimp. The headline is Man Flown to Hospital After Geocaching Fall.
Ooh.
All right. The date line is January 25th, 2023. That's pretty current. That's like yesterday.
Yeah.
Which
That's pretty fresh.
if it was Australia yesterday would have been 2 days ago.
It was
wouldn't
recent.
No, it would have been never mind. It was on the 25th in Australia. There you go. So the story reads, a man is carried from the lake's edge after falling while geocaching. A geocaching expedition ended in a trip in the air ambulance helicopter for one man at Lake Nagambi.
That's
I'm going
what
to say
I was
Nagambi.
thinking.
Exactly.
Nagambi. On Wednesday, January 25th, Nagambi Police Sergeant Bob Derrett said the man and his friend had been kayaking on the lake when they stopped at a geocaching spot at Kirwan's Bridge. The cryptic clue for the hidden object they were looking for said there might be a tree climb involved. The cryptic clue said there might be a tree climb involved. All right, said Sergeant Derrett. The man who fell was 60 years old. I guess that's relevant because, once we start getting over 40, 50 years old, a fall can be a little more damaging.
The floor is a lot harder than it used to be.
Yeah. Anyhow, the 60-year-old fell about 4 or 5 meters from a tree
Ouch.
on the water's edge after climbing. Ooh, that's a long fall.
That is.
Mhm.
All right. Well, Sergeant Derrett said the man managed to get himself out of the water, and the pair called for an ambulance. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Just picturing it seems kind of funny in my head. All right. The air ambulance helicopter landed in a nearby paddock, probably where the sheep were. After treatment in the ambulance, the man was transferred to the air ambulance and flown to a Melbourne hospital. Ambulance Victoria spokesperson said paramedics treated the man for lower body injuries. So sounds like he survived.
Yeah.
Lower body injuries. That's all we know, eh? We just don't know.
Yeah,
how.
because his body was in an upper position and it only got injured when it came down to the lower position.
Gravity got him.
I see. Yeah. I think of
So
somebody
when-
falling 4 or 5 meters out of a tree, and I just picture a Plinko game. And it's just one painful Plinko game. Hope he's okay.
As Wet Coaster says, it's not the fall; it's the
That's
sudden
right.
stop at the end. That's the problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Indeed.
And
I suppose I
and
really shouldn't be laughing about this, but I don't know. For some reason, I find this funny.
I hope he's doing well, but
We
who
do.
thinks going out on a kayaking trip you're going to fall 4 or 5 meters?
That probably wasn't in the cards, or what's it that the camp clan always says?
Apparently, he didn't know that a trip to the ER is not on the schedule.
There you go.
Lower body injury must have been a retired hockey player. says Wet Coaster.
Yeah, that's funny. Anybody who follows hockey, anytime a player is injured, they'll just say lower body injury. They will be absolutely non-specific as to what happened.
He fell in meters, but got injured in feet.
Indeed, as one does.
Oh, that's a good one. So we have another story, and this one doesn't involve an air ambulance. Well, it could,
Hopefully,
but hopefully
it doesn't.
not. Calling all treasure hunters, Discover Roseburg geocaching event begins February 4th, and that's upcoming. In case you're listening to this, if you're listening to this in the future, it may be another February 4th in the next time you're listening to it. They probably will still have it.
Is this an annual thing? This sounds familiar.
Yes. Roseburg Parks and Rec is hosting the Discover 12 Lands of Umpqua geocache series. It's a free family-friendly event designed to draw people outside to experience more of the city and its businesses, according to the release from the city of Roseburg. Geocaching series launches Saturday, February 4th, and the public is invited to gather at 9 a.m. at Stewart's Park Large Pavilion, where Roseburg Park and Recreation staff will give out verbal instructions, coordinate-containing passports for a high-tech treasure hunt. According to the Roseburg Recreation Coordinator, Tracy Moser, the event is expected to last until about 2 p.m. Now, using your GPS or some sort of handheld device, you follow the coordinates printed on the passport. The Participants will hunt for 5 real-world geocaches hidden around town, plus 15 virtual geocaches at special locations. People who find all 20 in the Discover Roseburg 12 challenge can redeem their passports for a limited edition collector's geocoin that honors Roseburg's sesquicentennial. Sesquicentennial.
Sesquicentennial.
I did it. I practiced on that
Very
one.
good.
It's just, you look at that and you go, that word is unpronounceable. No, you can break it apart. It pronounces. Now,
Good job.
you may want to hurry. There are only 200 coins available. The Geocache Challenge will continue until all the geocoins have been awarded. Now, since last February, 134 people completed Discover Roseburg 11 to earn those collectible geocoins. A total of 114 people and several dogs took part at last year's kickoff event.
I wonder if
So,
Dylan was
Subway
there.
Mark, you can bring the dog.
Yeah. You and I did a Roseburg. I don't know what year it was, but we did one of the Roseburg.
It wasn't 11 or 12.
No, definitely not 12. So it hasn't happened yet. But
That's right.
yeah,
I'm looking to see if I have a Roseburg coin.
it was
hand.
fun though. We had a good time. Roseburg is a nice town, and we had some good geocaches. We had a good time down there.
Limax answers the question that came up from GSM Times 2, asked, what is a sesquicentennial? A Sasquatch centennial?
That's right.
And Limax says it's 150 years. So there you go.
There you go. Rylang says sesquicentennial adventure labs are annoying. Unless they tell a story.
Sesquicentennial.
Sesquicentennial. The Sasquatch centennial. Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
see.
That's celebrating the 100th Sasquatch to visit your town.
150th.
Oh.
I remember, Limax says, I remember when the California license plates said that back in 2000.
Sesquicentennial.
So there you have it. Sesquicentennial. Sesquicentennial.
Sesquicentennial.
Very good.
Now,
Well,
folks, we're here tonight to talk about Leave No Trace. Maybe you saw that in the recent geocaching blog or newsletter that came out. What do they call their newsletter suddenly? I've forgotten.
the logbook.
The logbook. Thank you. I knew it until I said it. And then, once I led up to it, I didn't stand a chance. They mention in the logbook, yes, 4 low impact practices to do. And the 4, well, they work pretty well with the 7 aspects of Leave No Trace.
Yeah. So maybe that's a good point to bring up now. We're theming this or naming this episode Leave No Trace Geocaching. And we were inspired by the logbook blog about low impact geocaching. But there is actually a formal volunteer organization, nonprofit organization called Leave No Trace, who have 7 established principles of how to enjoy the outdoors with doing minimal impact, and we'll run through it. The official 7 are, but then we'll talk about the 4 variations on the theme that HQ has come up with to just help geocachers maybe target in on the things that are most relevant.
Should we
So-
talk about the first point?
Yeah,
Sure.
The first point is to plan ahead and prepare. Now,
sounds like leave a trip plan, doesn't it?
exactly. We talk about this quite often, and I hope one day I'll learn it. So that's why I keep liking to talk about it, because it gives me a chance to think. And have I done this recently? So choose the equipment and clothing for comfort and for safety, right? So that's bring the 3 T's.
Mm-hmm.
One of
Bring
the T's.
3 T's. Practice the 3
practice
T's.
3 T's. You're right. And of course, one of the T's is the 10 essentials. That's the safety part. That's what you want to carry with you.
There you go.
Also, consider the weather, the group size, the terrain. I would also say the members of the group, right? So if you've got somebody who's not a hiker and you plan to get this 5-5 cache, that may not be the best choice for the cache outing for the day.
Sorry, I keep chuckling because I'm watching the the chat. It's some funny stuff. GSM times 2 is being pretty funny tonight. It starts with to leave no trace. Does that mean we should pick up all the geocaches we find?
Mhm.
Limax says nope. It means you use branches to sweep away your footprints. Which GSM times 2 replies that that would make it more difficult for the rescuers to find.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry to interrupt, Chris. I was just having fun watching the interaction in the chat there.
Well, and Doramore, a point we'll bring up later, says, I wish more dog owners would practice leave no trace.
We will
Yes.
talk about that for
You
sure.
can
Yes.
Do that city, country, everywhere. Yes.
Mhm. All right, Chris, had you covered off the items in number 1 there that you wanted to?
I think I did. Should we also talk about what HQ said on number 1?
Yeah.
So an important first step on a low impact geocache outing is planning in advance. Before you head out, make sure you've checked to see your destination has particular rules or regulations for visiting geocachers. Also, consider planning your outing around times where there won't be as many people at this location.
So middle of the night is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That may be one of those particular rules or regulations, that the park closes at dusk, but
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
lot less people there when it's closed.
There are far fewer people once the park is closed.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I get what they're getting at is like, if you don't want the cache to be muggled, don't pull it out in front of a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's just a general good rule for life. But I think, there's probably a fine line there around being in the park when the park is officially open.
Yes. I know of certain FTFers in this area that will go out no matter the time of the day or night to get that FTF. And, obviously the park was closed when they found it. That's not cool, man.
Yeah, not cool.
Now, if you can't get in a place, if you can't, you're waiting around for people to move and it just can't happen. You know what? Make it an education experience. Hey, I'm geocaching. I'm going to go pull this container out. I'll show it to you. It's kind of fun. Maybe you want to come help me find the next one.
Stranger.
Yeah.
Come for a walk with me in the woods, stranger.
Hey, little girl, come over behind this tree with me. I want to show you something.
That's
That'll
trying to
go
make
over
it
well.
nice. And you guys ruin everything.
So we keep showing up every Thursday, Chris. Why don't we jump to number 2, which I think
Yes,
aligns
please
with
go
the number
somewhere.
2 from HQ. It's to travel and camp on durable surfaces. So I
Yes.
think that means only go caching on paved trails.
Yes.
That's what it means. Yeah.
Okay.
Cement, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And if there
You
isn't
know-
cement, maybe bring some with you. I don't know.
yes, take the time, pour cement trail.
Pave your path.
Yeah. I obviously what it means is stay on the main trails, the known trails.
Yeah.
And it's one thing I've seen recently from a number of land management groups who are asking that caches be placed, an arm's reach off of an established trail, and they're trying to keep people from blazing new trails.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how does that fit in with HQ's advice?
HQ says, stay on the trail.
Hmm.
It might be tempting to create your own off-trail route to get to the cache's coordinates, but the best path is the one that's already established. Stay on the paths designated for walkers and hikers. And if you're on a hiking trail, have your group hike in a single file line. That way you hide your numbers and the
That's right.
rescuers have no idea how many people they're coming to save.
Just like the sand people
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
ride their banthas in a straight line.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
apparently
it's-
they don't shoot well.
No,
Yeah.
that's the stormtroopers.
Grew up to be stormtroopers. Yeah.
I'm looking at this, and it's, the first thing as a geocacher that comes to my mind, and I get the advice, and I think it's good advice. But the first thing that comes to my mind is like, how many times are we looking at the phone or the GPS and like, well, the straight line is to the cache there.
Yeah. Bushwhacking trail out.
Yeah,
It's only 100 feet.
exactly.
How hard could it be?
Oh dear.
Yeah. But yes, definitely stay on the trails. And that's where some of those GPSs and even the phones have the trail maps on them. More than just the street maps is really helpful.
Yeah.
So you can see where that's going. And I like the way they said that to have the group hike in a single file line. I think, of course, that depends on the trail because some of my favorite trails are the ones that are the rails to trails that were former train beds. Those are so wide you could walk 6 people wide and not really impact things. But yes, for a narrow hiking trail, don't just be spreading out wide and trampling everything on the shoulders.
There you go. Number 3 from the official list of Leave No Trace is to dispose of waste properly. And I think this is what Dora Moore and a few other folks in the chat were getting at earlier. Why don't we jump into HQ's version of that? But then I think we can talk about what came up in the chat too.
Yeah. So HQ's list is to practice your ABCs. That's always be C2ing. Cash in, trash out. It's not just an event cache. It really is not. It's also a lifestyle. This is a game board that we all play on and we all enjoy. So channel that Ceto spirit and properly dispose of any trash or litter that your outing generates or encounters on your search for a geocache. So not limited to trash that you may have brought in. Take out more trash than you bring in. Help leave the place just a little bit cleaner for the next people.
That's right.
And that includes
Which end do you want to read the official Leave No Trace summary?
Official Leave No Trace. The dispose of waste properly there.
Yes, please.
Oh, yes. This is the fun one. It says, in most location, burying human feces in the correct manner is the most effective method to meet this criteria. Solid human waste must be packed out from some places, such as narrow river canyons. Land management agencies can advise you of specific rules for the area you plan to visit. I think they will also issue you a cork on your way in if you like.
That's so much easier.
I got to ask a question. When I see solid human waste, I mean, I know what they mean, but to me, it's like, yeah, because geocachers know where to leave the bodies, right?
That's right. Yes. Yeah, that's why
I can think of some people I've worked with in the past who I would consider solid human waste.
Wow.
Comments from Land Monkey do not reflect those of the.
Well, Land Monkey's stint on the show has been a real joy.
So this really should have been point number 2 because we're talking about using toilet paper sparingly and only using plain white non-perfumed brands of toilet paper. In fact, I think probably best if you go buy some camping toilet paper or RV toilet paper. You should also dispose of that properly because if not, the aliens will find it 600 years from now not broken down when they come in and explore this world.
These people just pooed everywhere, didn't
I
they?
know. Yeah. Yeah. So
there's perfumed brands of TP, is there? I didn't know that was the thing.
I don't know.
Oh dear.
So why we talked about human waste, this is also animal waste.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Nobody wants to step in poo no matter who pooed it.
That's right.
Indeed.
One of the biggest annoyances is these Canadian geese that just poop everywhere.
Oh, man. Here we go. Wet Coaster says, I wish people riding horses would leave no trace.
Yeah.
It's funny because I know some horse riders who will actually dismount and kick it off the trail. But
if you have the right boots.
Well, it's one of the reasons they wear those boots, I guess. But yeah, not everybody does. So yeah, that's a good point because I mean, it's one thing, although it's a lot harder to miss the piles of horse pucky than it is. The dog ones kind of tend to blend in, and those, well, when you've stepped in it, that's for sure.
That's right. They tend to be a little more mud colored.
Yeah. Ooh. a few. This is bringing up some interesting. Just Carlo says, I didn't know
Mhm.
about perfume toilet paper either. That just shouldn't be a
It
thing.
should
I
not.
tend to agree. I really not.
I
Well,
Boy, I want to say that was a thing, 20, 30 years ago. Colored and
sounds like a 1950s,
expensive.
1960s thing. Yeah, yeah.
I was even going to go 70s or 80s, but
Fair
yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
GSM times two raises a good question, though. This is one I think that is definitely interesting for debate. Should one bag and take out the dog poo or just kick it off to the side and let nature take care of it? And I think it's one of those it depends scenarios.
Mhm.
I think if you're kind of like deep in the bushes and the vegetation's pretty thick once you're off the trail, I honestly don't really see a problem with kicking the poop into the bushes and letting nature do its thing.
Mhm.
It's not like the other animals aren't leaving it there.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
I have heard people say because of what dogs eat, like the more
Mhm.
processed dog food and such, that the fecal matter is not the same as what would be left by any other animals. So, there you go. Bryling says dog poop should always be removed as it can contain parasites that shouldn't be introduced to the environment. There you go. So, and so there's an answer.
Mhm.
Um, GSM times two to your question. What you should definitely not do is bag it and then throw the bag into the blackberries.
Yes.
No.
Please
Definitely.
stop that. Not that I would think anybody here would do that, but
No, but somebody has because I've seen it.
yeah. But nobody in our chat would do that.
No,
No.
nobody in it. And just Carlos points out a very good fact that sometimes you only know you've stepped in dog poo when you get back to the car
Yes.
and wonder what smells.
I have done exactly
Indeed.
that. So
Yeah.
Okay, so responsible dog owner Subway Mark says sometimes my dog does his business in the bushes, which is sometimes impossible to pick up.
Yeah. And I think honestly, and I got Brylang's point about the parasites and as I said, other things that might not break down the same way as they would naturally. But I don't know. I'm no expert. My opinion is that it's okay to kick it into the bushes if it's that kind of trail. But if it isn't, if it's fairly open space or it's if you're in like a high desert kind of area, don't leave it there. Put it in the bag, take it back to the trailhead. There's almost always a waste bin at the trailhead, so you can dispose of it there.
GSM times two says I disagree, and GSM times two, we don't mind dissenting opinions, right? Ours is not always the correct opinion. If you bag it, take it to the landfill. The aliens will find it in 500
they
years,
might. Yeah,
and the
As they-
aliens have to wonder who's really in charge here, right?
that's right.
Indeed, the cats are. We all know that.
Yeah. If you have poo, fling it now.
Some good stuff there though, but yeah, absolutely. Just the pack it in, pack it out, right?
Yeah.
Is the intent here.
And your dogs pack that in.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
But
It is
we spent a lot of time talking about fecal matter here, but I think it also, the reminder is if you've got one of the things that people are tempted to do, like banana peels. I
Mhm.
ate my banana, just toss the peel.
Mm.
Don't just toss the peel in the bushes.
It's 100% biodegradable.
Yeah.
Always slip it into the hoodie of the hiker in front of you.
And then when they get in the car and they go, what's that
What
smell?
smell? Why do I smell bananas?
They keep looking. I don't know. All right. Checking the bottom of their shoes. Yeah.
No, the obvious thing to do is throw your banana peel in front of the cacher on the trail in front of you.
Or in front of their car and it'll spin around in circles.
Ooh.
Exactly.
And then you'll get to the star before they do.
You'll get to the catch before they do, right?
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Mario Kart teaches us how to competitively cache.
Taught me everything I need to know in life.
So banana peels, apple cores, same thing. Any fruit, orange peel, anything you've got out there, obviously nothing, of a prepackaged food variety. Don't throw that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orange peels, GSM times 2 says, yeah.
They take forever. The
And
aliens will
any
find those in
food
500
really
years.
that any food you have brought in. Now, I would say the only exception is if you know what you're doing and you're eating wild berries and there's either seeds in them or the stems, and those can stay because those are from there. But
Right.
anything else, no, pack it in, pack it out. All right. Have
Okay.
we covered this one?
Boy, I think we've gone the rounds on that one. Okay. And why does that one get the most discussion?
Because it's
Okay.
poop. It's fun to talk about poop.
So we talked about what not to leave behind, but what about leaving what you find? Now, we're not talking poop anymore. So consider the idea that good campsites are found and not made. Do not dig trenches for tents or construct lean-tos, tables, chairs, or other rudimentary improvements like a lathe.
Mm-hmm.
Avoid hammering nails into trees for hanging things, hacking at them with hatchets and saws, trying to or tying tent guy lines around trunks, thus girdling the tree. I'll argue with that one in a moment. Carving initials into the tree is unacceptable because you obviously don't know what the tree's initials are. And leave the pretty rock behind for others to see. I don't think you'll girdle the tree overnight or even in a week of camping.
Yeah. I think the idea is don't tie a rope around a tree and then leave it there.
Yeah.
Right. But I read that one and I was like, guys, you're being a little extreme here.
It does come across as a little excessive. I would agree. I don't see any issue with, hammocks with proper straps that can go around the tree and not damage the tree. Tent guy lines that, again, just don't be a doofus.
Limax says, I always make a 5-story condo when I camp.
Oh.
Of course you would.
Is it 5 stars as well?
Oh, a 5-starry condo, right? Now, geocaching, here's their take on leave what you find. As you search for geocaches, leave the flora and the fauna you pass as you found them, and make sure to replace cache containers without changing their hiding spots, unless it's 200 feet off. The only exception to this rule is when you find trackables or swag in a cache. Trading swag and helping trackables continue their journey is a practice you do want to follow. So yes, don't pick the flowers. Don't take the little deer home with you. The fawn, that's not a good thing. Take all the raccoons you want, though.
Let Bambi stay. Well, the raccoons just come with you.
Yeah.
By the time you get back to your car, they've got it hot wired. They're like, I guess you're coming with us. All right.
Stick them in your backpack, and you'll enjoy the hike back.
Oh yeah, smell, taste this is terrible. It's like burnt hair. You gotta try this.
GSM times 2 says, what about hanging ammo cans with ropes up in a high branch?
It wasn't specifically mentioned in their blog, so it must be fine.
That's right.
It's a good point, though, right? Because technically, as the rope goes up and down as people are lowering and raising it, it's going to rub the bark off the branch, and I guess technically, per the rules, probably not the best thing to do.
Right?
Have we all found a cache like that?
Oh yes. I mean, I've found caches where they have pulleys somehow attached to the trees, right?
Yeah.
Somehow.
I'm hoping, it's a zip tie with a lot of extra space in it, right? So that the branch can continue to grow naturally.
Yeah. Well, as Brian says, don't damage the tree with your ropes and you're good to go. So
There you go.
There you go. You mentioned leaving rocks behind, leaving the pretty rocks behind, but just Carlo commented, and this thought occurred to me as well. I'm glad just Carlo commented on it, made the comment, said, leave the rocks where you found them. But what about leaving painted rocks behind? He's seen many of those on trails, as have I. I
Mhm.
don't think that it's any different than leaving a geocache behind.
Right.
The thing is, that rock was picked up from somewhere.
Yeah.
So at some point, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the painted rocks thing. And I mean, again, I think this is the point. Like, you can go extreme on the leave no
Mhm.
trace, or you can just use some common sense and don't trash the
Mhm.
place.
Breiling, I think, is talking about the pulleys and trees. There's a ton of those left in the woods
Well, that
here in
was
Canada.
Limax said that Pifflebear and I saw a cable that a tree had grown around last
There you go.
Saturday. So Breiling was
Mhm.
responding to that. Yeah. So yes, there's a
Mhm.
lot of cables left in trees in logging country.
In the Pacific Northwest,
yeah.
tons of that.
Yeah.
So I guess the loggers left a trace.
Apparently so. And carved their own trails too.
Hmm.
I bet they're really popular with the leave no trace crowd.
I can't see why there'd be an issue there. Yeah.
Hey, and I mean, the loggers are just actually so convenient. Why do I have to go out and see the trees when they'll bring them to me?
Yeah.
Not only that, they're creating all the stumps for hiding the caches.
That's right.
Yes.
This is the same leave no trace crowd that goes home to their lumber framed home.
I feel like you're getting at something, but I'm not sure what it is.
Bag the poo, take it with you. Oh, that's a different thing.
Now, logging, I we're from the Pacific Northwest, where logging is a huge industry, right?
Yeah.
Those are privately owned lands, and it's a crop.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
harvested and replanted,
They grow
harvested and replanted. So,
Right.
you know,
The point of point
Yes.
of the article here is, from a geocaching perspective, don't crash in and cut things down and break things in order to find or place a geocache.
Right.
And really, that's the point of our show, is geocaching focus. So it's like, just take it
and
easy.
we won't mention the trails that have been created for us to go out there, right? That may or may not have removed trees to get them. Some of them are paved. Some of them have, raised wooden walkways. I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. On the topic of the leaving rocks behind, GSM times 2 says, as long as they're native rocks and not intrusive, unless it's an erratic.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
In which case, it's probably an earth cache already.
That's right.
aren't they all the painted rocks technically erratics? Because they've been picked up from somewhere else, modified, and then dropped off.
Arguably, yeah.
I suppose you could say that.
Look at all the little earth catchers I just found.
Well, you're amazing.
I know. I'm going to start logging them. Watch my numbers soar. Okay,
You're
now.
on fire now.
Ooh. Now we're going into only Leave No Trace, because the HQ newsletter, the logbook, only had 4 tips, where Leave No Trace has 7.
So hold on. That means the next 3 don't apply to geocachers? So we've got a pass on the next 3?
No, you don't.
No, we don't. And I think these are good ones. I mean, I think some of them apply. I guess it depends how you're geocaching. The next one is minimize campfire impacts, which is definitely good advice. We've definitely in the Northwest and all over the place had a lot of issues with campfires.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, not campfires, with wildfires.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes, a few years ago when I went camping with my son, there were no open flames allowed.
Right.
So, that's like, wow. Okay, how do we prepare food? Right, without an open flame? That's tough. Luckily, I have a friend who had a propane griddle, which was completely appropriate and allowed. So, we ate pancakes.
Yeah, metal
And-
propane stoves and griddles are usually allowed.
Well, and that's, the official Leave No Trace here does mention fires versus stoves.
Mm-hmm.
And they mentioned that the use of campfires, which once was a necessity for cooking warmth, is steeped in history and tradition. And it's, many of us, when we think of camping, we think of campfires, of course.
Yeah.
Many of us wouldn't even think of camping without a campfire, yet the natural appearance of many areas has been degraded by the overuse of fires and an increasing demand for firewood. So there are a lot of campsites where, people have been kind of going at it and cutting down trees or knocking branches off because they want a campfire. But the reality is, in today's modern technologically advanced society, there's lightweight, efficient camp stoves and all kinds of camp stoves and propane fire pits and what have you. So it's reasonable to encourage people to shift away from traditional fires and campfires for cooking. Stoves are essential equipment for minimum impact camping. I like the fact they say minimum impact camping instead of no impact, because it's
Yeah.
being a little more realistic there.
Exactly.
The stoves will operate in almost any weather condition and leave no trace, as long as you, again, pack out what you pack in.
Yeah.
I think what they're really saying here is just bring a microwave,
Okay.
right?
And you need to do the electric slide so you can power it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Battery operated, solar operated microwave.
Solar operated microwave. Those are fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
It only takes 18 minutes to do a hot pocket, but it's and you can only do it once a day. But
Exactly.
Not good.
But they do mention, while there are going to be campfires, the best place to build one is within an existing fire ring in a well-placed campsite.
Yeah.
And if you are, remember to put out the fire with water, not dirt. And never leave a fire unattended. That's good advice there.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go to bed knowing, oh, it'll burn itself out. That's not the right thing to do.
No.
Let's see. Limax wants to know, can you roast marshmallows over a propane stove?
Sure.
Yeah, you can.
A microwave works as well.
Yep.
GSM times 2 says, remember, only you can prevent forest fires. Well, except lightning. Going back to the electrical comments.
Indeed.
Yeah, Smokey the Bear put a lot of responsibility on me when I was a kid. I was a little upset about that.
Only you.
Only me?
Only you, Jim,
Yeah.
can prevent forest fires. I don't know what everybody else is doing.
I know.
BC Rock Crawler says, thus the increase in the propane fire pit.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yep.
Yes, a couple of my neighbors have those. And I think, oh, that would be nice. It's, just go click a switch and it comes on and you have a nice, lovely fire. And I think, that's not a real fire. That's a real fire.
You know what another good option is again, you got to be conscious of the, not breaking off branches off of trees and such, but, is the Solo. I don't know if you've seen the Solo stoves.
Mhm.
Those things are fantastic, and it is completely contained unit. And because of the way they burn, it's not going to create as many. Well, and again, it depends what wood you're burning, but not as many sparks and not as much of a mess. So it throws a lot of heat off. So it's an option.
Yeah, the Solo stoves are great. I mean, you just need a few slivers of wood to get that going and make it, and have an effective cooking surface.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to the sponsorship from Solo Stoves, and
Yes.
each of us getting our Solo stove to take
Yes.
camping.
We'll go field test them.
I'm sure the sponsorship will be coming any day now.
Excellent. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Put them on the list.
Oh, Wits End, do you want to read the next one?
Everybody likes the wildlife, but be respectful of it, won't you please? Don't go out there and take a picture on top of the bison. Don't pull up the plants and bring them over to the car window so that people that don't want to get out of the car can see the get a better look at the plants. Not good, not cool.
Don't cut down the trees just because they're so far away and you can bring them to somebody else.
Right,
You know, Jim, the one good thing about that is the people who take really close-up pictures of bison or bears, they usually only do it once.
I was gonna say they often are Darwin Award recipients, but
It's a lifetime achievement award to get a good photo.
Yeah. Their phrase here is to learn about wildlife through quiet observation, and quiet is a good thing because if you're loud and rowdy, you're not going to see as much wildlife as you would if you were quiet and respectful there. So wildlife can be scared off, and if you're in a large group, maybe break up into some smaller groups so you minimize your impact. It goes along with the hiking in a single file line and that kind of thing. And well, like you were alluding to, animals can be mean. They can be quite defensive. It's not mean. They're defensive, and very often they are more powerful, heavier, faster, stronger. Pointier teeth, all of the above. Nice claws, and if they're sick or wounded at all, too, they can infect you with anything. Even just a scratch can be really bad. So. Be respectful of them. They also mention in here to store your food securely and keep the garbage and food scraps away from animals. That's it's good to keep your food safe, but it's also, your human food is probably not the best for the animals. So keep the human food with the humans.
Mm-hmm.
Let's face it, most human food that I see in a store isn't good for the humans either. So take that with what you will. But
yeah.
Yes,
Brandon points out,
fluffy cows.
don't pet the fluffy cows.
Yeah. The animals can be dangerous, especially the trash pandas and the trunk monkeys. Those are the ones to really watch
Those
out
are
for.
bad, yeah.
Komakino says that sounds like one very scary chipmunk. My son was quite young when we were camping once, and they were eating their cereal out at the picnic table. And he didn't say anything, but he came back and got me as a very aggressive squirrel decided he wanted the cereal more than my son did.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we can't have that.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
And he's just like, oh, squirrel. Oh, go away. No, it's not going away. What do I do?
The squirrel's like, hey, thanks. This is my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, honey nut Cheerios. Oh, good.
Yeah. The squirrel's like, you can come back and clean up when I'm done here.
Yeah.
Would you do the dishes? Thanks. Okay. GSM times 2 says chipmunks are cute until one is hanging from your finger.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yep. Exactly. Oh, let's see. So the last one is be considerate of others. One of the most important components of outdoor ethics is to maintain courtesy towards other visitors. It helps everyone enjoy their outdoor experience. Many people come to the outdoors to listen to nature. Listen to nature, right? Excessive noise, uncontrolled pets, and damaged surroundings take away from the appeal of the outdoors. Don't be out there blasting your own music because you're more important than everyone else. Did I say that out loud? I should.
Total pet peeve. People who have Bluetooth speakers hooked on to their jacket or backpack or whatever and are walking along playing the latest top 40 tunes on the trail. I'm like, shut that up. It's just like,
exactly.
Nope. None of the rest of us want to hear it.
That's right.
That's right.
Practice your Vulcan neck pinch for those people.
And, in putting in earbuds or earphones, that's not the right thing either, because then you can't hear what's going on around you. Right.
Yeah.
So
you've gone out into the wilderness. How about enjoy
the wilderness,
the sound of the wilderness? Yeah.
If you want to put your earbuds in as you go over and stand next to the bison, that might be the one exception to the no.
In fact, when you're sitting on top of the bison taking your picture, that's the time you should turn on your Bluetooth speaker quite loudly.
Enjoy the ride. Yeah.
Now, here's another one that's interesting is right of way on narrow trails. Now, I know
Oh,
our
yeah.
show's going to run long here, but who has the right of way? If you're going up and down, right? So
Jim always has the right of way.
well, that should be true.
Well, it's funny because I mean, in all seriousness, I was going to say I almost always yield right away to anything. Another hiker. I'm the first one to try to step off. Find a place, find a wide. I see somebody coming. There's a wide spot. I'll go stand over there and wait for them to pass.
I will generally give the right of way to those coming downhill. So, I mean, just speaking specifically of hikers and other hikers on a trail, I will yield the right of way to hikers coming downhill, because to me, it's a lot harder for them to stop, and for me, that gives me a little break on the way uphill.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
GSM times 2 says the
Same
same. Like to
thing.
give the right of way heading up.
Yeah.
And that way you get a rest. But yeah, Chris, I think you were going to talk about the moose always.
has the-
There,
Yes.
okay, there was I don't know, the YouTube short or some sort of video I saw, maybe Instagram, something. Anyways, a video I saw of a moose charging down a sidewalk in some I can't remember what community it was. And a person was like putting their garbage bin out, and they kind of glance over their shoulder and then bolt out of the way, and a moose just comes running past them down the sidewalk. And I think, yeah, as Dormore says, the moose had the right of way.
That's right.
They're kind of the
so-
AT-ATs of the animal kingdom.
Yeah. So on some of these really narrow trails where, you may be walking along an edge, a contour, right? Where uphill is steep and downhill is, seems steeper. Finding the right of way there is always tough, right? So you can, I think Wits End is right. Go find a wide spot or the widest spot you can, and hug the uphill side and let somebody pass.
Yep. Yeah, and I think some other good advice here. Talk quietly if it's a pack animal or horse riders as they pass. Horses can be spooked easily. Another thing that spooks horses are ropes. Ropes, depending on where the rope is, like if it's dangling down funny off your pack or something like that. I have heard once that they think it looks like a snake. I don't know how true that is, but
We'll talk to your horse and find out.
Yeah. Or you whisper to you're a horse whisperer.
Yes. There you go. Thanks, Mr. Ed. Yeah, horses are easily spooked. So, give them a wide berth if possible. Keep your dogs on a leash and clean up after your pets.
Yep.
We already talked about it, but do
A
it.
lot.
BC Rock Crawler says yielding to the one going downhill applies to vehicles on Forest Service roads too.
Yep.
Yeah, almost everything we talked about is applicable on a Forest Service road as you're driving as well.
Indeed.
I like this. Let's have a, leave no dust on the Forest Service road website. We'll start that.
Sure.
We'll just use these same 7 points.
And pick up your exhaust.
Yeah, exactly. leave no exhaust. I don't know.
Sure.
Anyway, folks, thank you for joining us. Chat, we really appreciate you. And if you're listening, you're appreciated as well. Thank you so much.
Indeed. If you've enjoyed this, we want to thank you for tuning in. Chris will tell you what to do if you didn't enjoy it later. It's different than what I would tell you to do. And I want to take a moment to thank Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate Denali level sponsors. That's right. Land Sharks, LandSharkz.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. They are shipping those online orders daily. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures and 2 geo tours, check out exploregoldcountry.com. And folks, we want to thank all of our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Land Sharks, Gold Country Geotourism, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cachly, the geocaching app. If you want to know more about supporting this show, like the long growing list that we're about to get
Yeah.
into, well, click on the Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website.
Like B. Pentragon did.
And our newest patron, Winos Seattle.
Awesome. And Greenwords,
J-Car.
Skyhawker.
Segehov,
Korsgat.
The Camp Clan.
Genies,
Acker Doc.
Wet Coaster.
You Talks to Rocks,
MC3 Cats.
Tick Magnet.
Trexer,
And Teus.
Peach of Washington.
just finding our way.
Responsible dog owner, Subway Mark.
Terrible Lunch Great Cacher. Gas Station Tuna.
Creator of the Glow, Dora Moore.
Kennel Barb.
Kid Vegas 19.
Logwork,
GeoNav Pro.
The Seabeck Tribe.
CRS 98.
GSM times 2.
Whidbey Island Gal.
Kev MacD.
Flagman.
M-Nerve.
Our favorite kitchen appliance, the LG 9000.
Kitty Quest.
Ari. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Boomer 365.
There you go.
Those two seem to be going together more. It's
Yeah.
totally random, folks.
Mm.
I can prove it. Donners.
Geocaches.
Sprouter.
Keats 94.
Team Noltex.
Fairwood West.
Alarobrick.
UDAC.
Limax.
And the Arnott family.
Oh, we appreciate all of them and all of you for listening and joining us in the chat or downloading us later or wherever you have us bouncing around inside your skull. We're happy to be here.
There's a lot of room in here, in this skull. Hey, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. Now, if you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website. And as Land Monkey alluded to earlier, if you didn't like the show, let us know what you want us to talk about. In either case, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Subscribe and give us a review. Now, if you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. You can also call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or help us out on the trail any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingandw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and an even livelier chat, especially if you're 4 to 5 meters up in a tree. The show's produced by Chris Umpenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2023 by Chris Umpenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
So you know what's going to happen? Sometime in the near future, I'm going to fall 3 or 4 meters out of a tree, and everybody's going to laugh at me because I brought it upon myself.
And you'll have to answer, was it Plinko or was it Pinball?
I would then have the answer.
Yeah.
Starcatcher says, one of these days, Boomer needs to be whispered and Kitty Quest needs to be shouted.
Oh, that's funny.
Mhm.
Well, I guess it has now.
Oh, there you go.
The day has arrived.
Clap.
A clap.
Golf clap. One hand clapping.
Ah, very clever. All right.
Okay, so let's see what we have here.
Yeah, what do we got over here? Got a few LNTs. I think we got to all
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah. Dogs,
Horses.
horses, GSM times 2. Oh, wait, no. Leave no trace. Rocks when you found
Painted
them.
rocks,
Yeah.
right. Did that. Oh, this is a good one. BC Rock Crawler is saying remove inappropriate materials. Now that applies to geocaching for sure. If you
Yeah.
Yes.
see something in a geocache that shouldn't be in there, anything that is not kid friendly,
Yeah.
Right.
and remove it. I've removed a surprising number of bullets from geocaches.
Hmm.
And you know, don't get offended, but not just in the U.S. It's happened in Canada as well. Like,
What? How?
I know, right?
No.
I'm like, what is this? Like, why did somebody think this was a good thing to leave here? And you know, I got to think it wasn't a geocacher, but you never know.
Right.
Well, they are ammo
You know,
cans.
Well,
Yeah.
right? I mean, okay, but then it should be filled with bullets, not a bullet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you get rid of them when it's empty. Maybe they left one behind. Oops, I thought it was empty.
Stuck in the corner. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't. There's a several number of caches that I found that I believe somebody else found and thought this would be a good place to, stash their drugs. Like, I'll take care of that for you.
GSM times 2 was had feedback to answer my question. Says, do you have that one? There you go. Why there's bullets in Canadian ammo cans is people coming from the U.S. getting rid of their bullets.
Well, you're not allowed to bring your guns in.
No, but you can bring your bullets, I
But
guess.
you can bring the bullets, apparently.
Because the guns don't kill people. Yeah.
That's right. Honest, I have no way to discharge this bullet.
Oh, too funny. He also says if you find dog poop in a geocache, remove it.
Remove the geocache?
The entire geocache. Just get rid of the
At
whole
that point.
You probably should, actually. Yeah.
Oh, too funny.
Just
All
get
right.
rid of it and start over. Contact the CO and said, sorry, this is done.
You're not gonna want to do maintenance on this one.
No.
Oh, too funny. All right. Well, a fun episode. Fatas from me, working on some more great content on the YouTube channel, and been releasing some YouTube shorts each Monday. So bet you didn't know that's how YouTube, what they wear under their pants, are YouTube shorts.
I was going to say, do you have any YouTube long pants?
I'm a podcaster.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, folks, thanks for joining us. This episode will never be posted because we won't leave any trace. Until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.